Dave Revson in our Big Ten Network studios. Ohio State has placed head football coach Urban Meyer on paid administrative leave as the school investigates what Meyer knew about domestic incidents involving former wide receivers coach Zach Smith. Smith was fired July 23rd in the wake of allegations that he physically abused his former wife, Courtney, who was granted a domestic violence protective order. This was not the first incident involving the Smiths. At Big Ten Media Days, Meyer said he was aware of an aggravated battery accusation against Smith when he was on Meyer's staff at Florida in 2009, though charges were never filed in that case. When the story came out last week, Meyer was also asked about two alleged domestic violence incidents in 2015, incidents which Meyer said he was not aware of. The veracity of those statements called into question today by Smith's ex-wife, who showed college football reporter Brett McMurphy a series of text messages between her and the wives of Ohio State coaches, including Urban's wife, Shelley, clearly delineating the alleged abuse. As the school tries to determine what Meyer knew and when he knew it, it made the decision to place Meyer on leave today, issuing a statement that said, quote, "The university is conducting an investigation into these allegations. During the inquiry, Urban Meyer will be on paid administrative leave. Ryan Day will serve as acting head football coach during the investigation. We are focused on supporting our players and on getting the truth as expeditiously as possible." Meyer also issued a statement saying, it's athletic director Gene Smith, and I agree that being on leave during this inquiry will facilitate its completion. This allows the team to conduct training camp with minimal distraction. I eagerly look forward to the resolution of this matter. Well, as was mentioned at issue, what Meyer knew about the 2015 allegations. Here's what he had to say about it at Media Days last week.
Bill Landis from Cleveland.com. Urban, you said earlier that you were aware of the incident with Zach in 2009. Your inquiry into 2015 was unfounded. You couldn't find anything. Why fire Zach now if you had kept him on staff after 2009?
Well, I'm going to address the 2009 because I've been asked about that. 2009, Zach was an intern, a very young couple. As I do any time that I imagine most coaches or people in leadership positions, you receive a phone call, first thing you do is tell your boss, let the experts do their jobs. We're certainly not going to investigate. It came back to me that what was reported wasn't actually what happened, and so Shelley and I actually both got involved because of our relationship with that family and advised for counseling and wanted to help as we move forward. 2015, I got a text late last night that something happened in 2015, and there was nothing, unless, once again, there's nothing, once again, I don't know who creates a story like that. And then this recent one was, you press pause. It's something our team lives by, E + R = O. You get an event, you press pause, get your mind right and step up. Press pause to gather information, get your mind right to gather energy, and then step up to do the right thing. That's the position that I hold, and that's why we did that.
Doug Lesmerises, Cleveland.com. Just to clarify, Urban, did firing Zach now, is it because any of this became public, or is it because there was another incident that led to the latest protective order on Friday?
I'm not going to get into that, Doug. It's a very personal matter. The decision was made. I think the details that, I'm obligated to give, I gave. You're talking about people's lives, et cetera. So the decision was made. It's time to move forward. And we are in a public world. I try not to operate, especially when you're talking about personnel and people, making things because it became public. But to say that doesn't have something to do with it, it does a little bit. I'm one of those ones that I really don't care about that. I try to stay focused on what's the most important thing, that's our players and our team. But I do understand the value of, it's the Ohio State University is bigger than all of us. And so you have to do what's right by them. And the timing, it wasn't just my decision, it was a group effort on several people that I rely on.
Knowing your relationship with Earl Bruce, how did that factor into all of this? And obviously you have a relationship with that family and with Zach that extends beyond just him being an employee of yours. How did that factor into all of this?
Well, Zach was first hired because of his skill set. I knew about it because he was with me at Florida. Played for me at actually Bowling Green. But Coach Bruce now was as strong a relationship I've ever had, other than my father. I've made that clear many, many times. And so the big picture that was very important in this particular situation, you know, I think, you know, that's one of the hard jobs of a leader. You have to make decisions that are for the best of the program, and I did.
Now, for those who are not aware, Zach Smith is the grandson of Earl Bruce, who Urban Meyer was referring to there. Jerry DiNardo, BTN analyst, joining us now on the phone. And Jerry, the biggest issue here, obviously, is domestic violence, the health and welfare of Courtney Smith. Some really harrowing photographs released as part of McMurphy's story today.
Yeah, no doubt, Reverend. I appreciate you starting our conversation that way because, you know, the topic of all these conversations that we're about to have tonight and as we go forward, the topic is domestic violence. That's the most important thing. Everything else is a subtopic. And so that's the most important issue here. And it's going to be the most difficult issue to discuss, but certainly the most important. And that's really where most of the focus should be.
That being said, what do you think of how the university has handled this at putting Meyer, I should say, on paid administrative leave?
Well, I think it's a smart move. I think this is, again, the topic is domestic violence, nothing else. So what we have to do is gather information. We've got to be truthful. If there have been mistakes made, I think they have to be exposed and admitted to, and that's the way it should be handled. So Gene Smith is a veteran guy, and this is, I think, the right way to handle it. But we've got to get to the truth, and most important, if mistakes have been made, it's never too late to fix a mistake, Rever. We've got to admit those mistakes, and we have to show some way that we're going to do our best not to repeat them.
So what's next now as Ohio State starts camp this week, and Urban Meyer is, at least for now, not a part of the program?
Well, you know, for me, I'm hoping that the players are learning about domestic violence, not a play or a down. We know we have to proceed with the game. We understand that, but to me, that's not going to be an issue. I think 18 to 22-year-olds, you know, they're going to get back into their game, and that's what everyone expects. But more important, there's something to be learned here by that team, by all of college football players and all of us in society. There's something to be learned here. And the biggest lesson for the Ohio State team is domestic violence. There is no excuse for it. It is zero tolerance, unacceptable, and it's much more important than getting a first down or completing a pass.
Well said. BTN analyst Jerry DiNardo, thanks for your time on short notice tonight.
Thanks, Ray.
Now, that is going to do it for us for now here from the BTN Newsroom. We will, of course, continue to monitor this story, continue to keep you updated both on BTN, on BTN.com, on all our social media platforms as well.